So, hello everybody and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Welcome back here, BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Wednesday, November 25th. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. It is, in fact, Wednesday, November 5th, day before Thanksgiving. We got a lot to cover today on the podcast. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Last night, not much sports on. Tonight and tomorrow, that is not the case. I should say throughout the day today, there is a ton of college basketball on, and it is officially the start of college basketball today. And tomorrow, there is a ton of NFL on. One of the games got canceled. The Ravens-Steelers game did get canceled due to some positive tests, but that still means that we still have the Texans-Lions and the Washington and Cowboys, so those should be good games. I found myself last night really trying to find stuff to watch. It was a struggle. Last night there was not much to watch. I did watch some college hockey because that was literally one of the only things that was on. I was watching Penn State. I like hockey. I don't really watch college hockey, but I mean, if there's really nothing else on, I'll throw it on sometimes. It just started up, obviously, because, college hockey and college basketball, they just started up. But college hockey, I was watching. I mean, I like hockey. I like NHL. I watch the NHL. Obviously, you all know I'm a big Rangers fan. I'll watch the NHL. College hockey, and I've been to a couple college hockey games before, but it's not to the point where I'm really, a huge fan. Yesterday I was kind of just watching it because it was something that was on. I was watching Penn State, Wisconsin, and then I was watching Ohio State, Minnesota, which is two top 25, which were, all those teams were in the top 25 for hockey. I'm not a big college hockey fan. I usually don't watch it that often, but if it was a night like last night on Tuesday where there's nothing else on, there was no small college football game, there was really nothing on. If that's the case, then I'll throw on something else. But, but last night I threw on college hockey, watched a little bit of it, but it was definitely odd not having anything on. I mean, there was no football, there was no basketball, obviously. I mean, there's been none. But there was nothing on last night, so obviously really stinks. But we obviously are now today. We can't complain today. There's all throughout the day, literally all throughout the day, every hour it's got you covered of college basketball. So you can't be complaining that there's nothing on today because there's a ton. And then tomorrow you can't complain either because there are two good football games on tomorrow. There was going to be three. But that one of the games got canceled. Two very good football games tomorrow, including one that is huge for the NFC East in the Washington game and the Cowboys. That game is by far the most important game, I think, in terms of meaning tomorrow. I think the Texans-Lions game is good, but, you all know that. That game doesn't have too much meaning in it just due to the fact that both those teams are very bad. I mean, if the Lions win, they're 5-6. They're not completely out of it. If they lose, they're really behind. And Texans at this point are just playing for pride, kind of padding their stats and stuff like that. So there's a lot of good games on tomorrow, but these are the topics today. We got the NFL Thanksgiving Day game picks. Like I said, I decided tomorrow I'll take an off day. I'll be back on it on Friday, though, talking about tomorrow's games. And then also, I will be talking about just the NFL game picks and all that. So, obviously, today we'll cover all those games, even though they're happening tomorrow. I'll do that. Then we got some fantasy football. We'll talk all about the fantasy football, give you who I think should be in, out, all that good stuff. There's a lot of players I'm playing tomorrow. I've got Zeke, Antonio Gibson, Deshaun Watson, and that's it. That's three. That's one from... I got Deshaun Watson on the Texans. I got Antonio... I got both running backs on the Cowboys and the Redskins. So, it's kind of funny because... Tomorrow, when I'm watching that Washington Cowboys game, when I'm watching that football team Cowboys game, I'm gonna be sitting here saying, I'm gonna be sitting here saying that, when I'm sitting there watching that game tomorrow, I'm going to be, I'm gonna be rooting for Antonio Gibson of the Redskins on offense, of Washington on offense, and I'll be rooting for Elliott on Cowboys on offense as well. So I'm rooting for both teams on offense, technically, both running backs there. And the Texans, I'm obviously rooting for Watson there. So with all that being said, then we got the college basketball games. I'll give you all my preview, and I'll preview Kentucky's Morehead State game tonight. Kentucky plays. You see, I got my Kentucky shirt on, got my Kentucky shorts and socks on, all Kentucky'd out for today. Very excited. 6 p.m. Eastern Time on SEC Network tonight. I'll be watching that game. we'll talk about that game on Friday. I think we'll probably cover that game a little bit on Friday. If not, then it is what it is. I'm pretty confident about tonight's game. We'll kind of give you a little sneak peek into the kind of just the preview of the Kentucky basketball season. So that's obviously exciting. Very excited tonight to watch Kentucky play. First time in, I think they said 253 days or whatever. Feels like much longer than that, but it really is crazy. Very, very, very excited obviously very excited to watch some sports again. So with all that being said, this is the BSN podcast, and let's get right into it. So we got a lot of good games on this week. Like I said last week for my game picks, I really struggled. We went 6-8. This week I'm 0-0 so far. Like I said, tomorrow if I go 0 for 2, that is awful. If I go 1 for 1, it's not great. It's not horrible. I have a very bad record of Thursday night games. Thursday game in general. I know tomorrow is not Thursday night games, but to be honest, just Thursday game in general, I have a very bad record. I think I'm 5-7 on 4-7. Yeah, 4-7 I think on Thursday night picks. So very bad. Which I don't know if that's going to carry into tomorrow because it's technically not a Thursday night game. But if I go 0 for 2 tomorrow, that's not going to sit well with me. Luckily, it's going to be Thanksgiving, so I'll be happy because I'll be eating all the food. But it's not going to sit well with me still if I go 0 for 2. But I feel very confident about my one pick. The other pick was a pick I kind of had to do a toss-up. And I'm only picking it for a certain reason. But yeah, I think tomorrow's going to be. I think there's going to be some good game. I think tomorrow's going to be a couple good games on tomorrow. Obviously, I think tomorrow's going to be a couple good games on. Obviously, like I said, the Ravens-Steelers game, that's not happening. That got canceled due to a couple positive cases. I said it. I think on Monday, you got to watch out. They said yesterday that the game is on, and then today they cancel it. So I don't know what the NFL is doing, but it really does stink because obviously, that was a very exciting game to watch, but at least they play Sunday, so it's not like it's the end of the world. It's not like they got it completely postponed. At least they play Sunday. But with all that being said, these are the games on for tomorrow. I know I've said this so many times, but these are the games on, and I'll give you the times and networks, and then I'll go, since I'm doing this today, and I have more time, I'm going to go through the keys of the game for both games. I'm going to keep it quick, though, because I know sometimes the keys of the game could take like 30 minutes. I'm going to keep it quick. I'm not going to go through the keys of the game so, more in depth. I'm just going to kind of go quickly through it since it's two games. I got the Texans and the Lions. Texans go into that game 3-7. Lions are 4-6. Texans are 3-point favorites. Over/under is 51.5. That game's at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on CBS. Then we got the Cowboys and Washington. Cowboys are 3-7. Washington's 3-7. Over/under is 46, and the Cowboys right now sit at 3-point favorites. That game is also on tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fox. So you got the CBS game and you got the Fox game. And I love how they made these schedules because it's not like it's back-to-back either. You got one game, 12:30, will probably last to about 3:30. You got a little bit of an hour break. And then you got the 4:30 game to wrap up Thanksgiving. And that's going to be that's the game I'm really looking forward to tomorrow is that 4:30 game between Washington and the Cowboys. So with all that being said, let's get into the keys of the game, and let's get into my game picks for these Thanksgiving football games tomorrow. So like I said, I'm going to start off with the Houston Texans, go to start off with the Texans and the Lions, and then go to Washington and the Cowboys. I'll do the keys of the game, offensive keys, defensive keys. I'm going to keep it short. I'm not going to go too long, like I said. I'm probably, like I said, I'm sure many of you guys are also looking forward to see what I have on to say about Kentucky and stuff. So I'm going to keep this short. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to try not to talk about 40 minutes, although I do sometimes ramble on about it just because that's how much I love talking about sports. But we'll try to keep it short and sweet. So let's get into the Texans and the Lions. I'll do the Texans offensive keys of the game first. Then we'll do offensive, defenses. We do this every single week. So let's get into it. So we got the Houston Texans coming to this game, 3-point favorites, like I just said. And the over-under is set at 51.5. So, obviously, they're showing you that, 51.5 is, they're obviously showing you this is going to be a high-scoring game. And I can see that very well coming because of the fact that these are two defenses that are not very good, and these are two offenses that at times can definitely play very well and definitely can utilize that deep ball tomorrow. You definitely utilize that deep ball, not just in the Thanksgiving games, but overall. These are both teams that can definitely utilize the deep ball. So that's obviously, the hope is that both these teams, utilize that deep ball to the best of their ability. Kenny Golladay, just a quick update tomorrow. Just a quick update for just a quick update for Kenny Golladay tomorrow. This is one of the big keys to the game, I think. Kenny Golladay is questionable tomorrow. He is still questionable right now. Reports just came in that he is questionable. Kenny Golladay hip didn't participate in Tuesday's walkthrough practice. Michael Rothstein of the ESPN.com report. So you got to keep your eye out for that. And if you're making your game pick, if Kenny Galladay's out, Marvin Jones Jr. is still in. But if Kenny Galladay's out, he doesn't play, you got to keep your eyes open. You have to be aware. You got to keep your eyes open for that. You got to be ready for anything to come your way. If Kenny Galladay's out, the edge goes to the Texans. You just got to watch out. The fact that Kenny Golladay didn't participate, that's pretty negative news for a lot of Lions fans and pretty negative news for people that are going to pick the Lions. I'm not saying that I'm not going to pick them, but it is definitely negative news. So just keep your eyes out for that. So let's get into the offensive keys of the game for the Houston Texans. And I just said this a couple minutes ago. I said it's not going to be a defensive game. These are two offenses at time when they're at full strength and they're healthy. These are two offenses with two very good receivers. Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones Jr. for the Lions, and two very good receivers, Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller for the Texans. And you got two quarterbacks who could still throw the ball decently deep. Here's my thing here, okay? And this is going to go down to the Texans' keys of the game here. If the Texans want to win this game, right, and the Lions' secondary this season has really struggled. Their defense overall has struggled. That's why I think the over-under is set at 51.5, because neither of these defenses are really that overpowering. The Lions' secondary has struggled. Watson has been able to really, really play very well these past couple of weeks. Has been really playing very well. I mean, I think he's possibly playing some of the best football all season long that he has played all season. The past couple of weeks has been some of the best football he has played all season long. In fantasy, if you want to consider fantasy, he's been putting up 30 points about a week in the past couple of weeks. If you're considering stats, he's been throwing 2, 3, 4 touchdowns every week. Now, against the Browns, he really struggled. But against some of these teams, you notice there's a common theme. Against some of these struggling defenses, the Jaguars, this upcoming game, the Lions, he plays so well. And you want to know what's also the difference of that game? So some of these other games, he throws the ball 25, 30, 35 times. He's going to throw the ball a lot. If the Texans want to win this game, here is my key on offense. Throw the ball deep. This is a secondary with Jeff Okudah and Darius Slay who have not lived up to expectations. Jeff Okudah has really struggled as Lions, and I loved him coming out of college. I've started to get a little bit away from him. He has not played. I mean, it's his first year, so I don't want to call him a bust. But I mean, this has been a guy that is only underachieved. He's picked it up maybe a little bit in the past couple of weeks. He's got to get a little bit more playing time, I think. But I still don't know if that's a key. Darius Slay's had a decent year, but you still got to sit here and say you just can't trust this. And they've got two solid receivers. You're just not going to be able to trust that, right? So you got to throw the ball deep. Not only is Watson very successful against some of these bad secondaries, and throws the ball deep a lot and gets a lot of yards, you're also missing out your best running back in David Johnson, who has been a very consistent running back for you all season long. You've been missing him for the past, I think it's 2 weeks now, or 2.5, because he got taken out. He's on IR right now with a concussion. Duke Johnson has done absolutely nothing since he got there. And you cannot rely on this run game. I don't care how bad their defensive front can be. You cannot rely on this run game to win you a ball game. And if you do, I'll sit here on Friday and tell you I'm wrong. But you cannot tell me that Duke Johnson, you're going to hand him the ball off 20 times tomorrow and expect to win that game. You have to throw the ball. Throw it deep. Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, take advantage of your tight end. Take advantage. Run some mismatch. Take advantage of a tight end on a corner matchup or something. Take advantage of that. You do not run the football tomorrow. You have to throw the ball. Duke Johnson has done absolutely nothing since he came back in to start. He's gotten, I think, 5 points in fantasy, 4 points. He's done nothing. He'll get 15 carries for like 30 yards. He's done nothing. Don't run the ball. You can run the ball. I mean, you're not going to throw the ball 70 times. You're going to have to run the ball. Just don't run the ball that much. I don't want to see you running the ball on first down, you running the ball on second down, forcing a third down and 8, throwing in completion. That is not the game plan. Throw it, run. Run, throw, run. Something like that. Throw it. First down and 10, throw it. Take chances. This secondary is not dangerous. This isn't like you're playing up against the Pittsburgh Steelers where you got to be more conservative. Take chances downfield. You're 3-7. Take chances. Throw the ball deep. That's the key to the game for the Texans on offense. Now the key to the game for the Texans on defense, this is if DeAndre Swift plays. This is if DeAndre Swift plays. And same thing with Kenny Golladay. This is one of the tough ones for me because I don't know really if Kenny Golladay is going to play. He's questionable. And I don't know if DeAndre Swift's going to play because he's questionable as well. This is one of these moments is if they play. This is a big if. This is a big if. Right? I have kind of two keys for the Texans. It kind of comes into one. You almost, and I don't want to sound, like a Captain Obvious when I say this because you obviously got to stop the other team. But you have to stop these pivotal players, is what I'm trying to say. If you're the Lions and you stop Randall Cobb, not the end of the world. Randall Cobb, receiver for the Texans, not the end of the world. He's not a game changer. He's caught a couple touchdowns this year, but he's not a guy that's going to go off for 155 yards and 2 scores. If you stop Randall Cobb, you stop him. There's a difference between, I've said this for a long time now. There's a difference between stopping a player and then stopping a game changer. And that's why this key was stuff for me. And I would, before the podcast, I think of these keys. I don't come on here and just randomly say them. I map out the keys of the game. I think they're pretty easy to think of. Just because, if you know a lot, if you know, like, what, because I know each team's strength and weaknesses and stuff, it's pretty easy. Some keys of the game are easier than others. This was one of the harder ones because, I don't know if DeAndre Swift or Kenny Golladay is going to play. There's a chance there's a chance they both don't play, and that will make an easy day for the Texans. But like I said, there's a difference between stopping a player, right? Stopping Randall Cobb, for example. I'm not trying to pick on Randall Cobb. Just to keep it in this matchup, stopping him. And then there's a difference of stopping a game changer. And I don't want to almost say that Kenny Golladay is a game changer, but he can be at times. I mean, that's your number one receiver. You stop any team's number one receiver, that's going to be helpful. Even if it's the Jets. If you stop Jamison Crowder or Denzel Mims, that's going to be helpful. Although it's not that difficult to beat the Jets, even if you don't stop either of them. But you're going to always have to stop. If you stop the number one receiver, that's going to be helpful. So they have to find a way. And I know Marvin Jones Jr. is still there and stuff. And that's what makes this Lions team at times. And that's why I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. Because that's what makes this Lions team at times so potent on offense. Because they have two very solid receivers. And they have a very solid running back who can not only run the ball, but was even known more in college for his catching ability and his his yards after catch ability in college at Georgia. And that is DeAndre Swift. And I'm going to check right now, just to double check, just to see if anything new came in. But if I'm not mistaken, I think Swift is still in for tomorrow. He is questionable tomorrow. DeAndre Swift concussion was limited participant in Tuesday's walkthrough practice. Michael Rothstein of the ESPN.com reports. So he was another limited. So here's what I'm going to tell you if you're the Texans, right? Because you'll have your number one corner on Golladay. If both of them play, you have to find a way to eliminate one of them. You have to find a way to eliminate one of them, right? And I know I say this a lot, but you do. You cannot, if you're the Texans, you cannot have Marvin Jones Jr. have a good game, Kenny Golladay have a good game, and even if Swift doesn't play that bad, you're going to lose if they both have good games. You cannot allow all three of them to have solid games. You have to eliminate at least one of them, and try to eliminate Swift and Golladay. Marvin Jones Jr. will play good, but he's not going to lose you the game. Marvin Jones Jr. is not going to single-handedly win that game for the Lions. He's just not that kind of guy. He's good. He's just not that. Kenny Golladay can do that. DeAndre Swift can do that. So you have to find a way. Really hone in on DeAndre Swift and Kenny Golladay. This is if they play. If neither of them they play, easy day for the Texans defense. Outside of Marvin Jones Jr., you got Adrian Peterson, who's an older running back in that backfield. You could stop him. So you have to figure out, if they play, you have to figure out, try to stop one of them. If that means stopping Kenny Golladay, and even if DeAndre Swift has a defensive game, okay, that's fine. You have to find a way to stop one of them. And like I said, this is another thing. This might make it even easier. Let's just say one of them's limited tomorrow, and they don't play all the snaps. Sometimes these guys are playing 99% of the snaps. Let's just say tomorrow they play 60% of the snaps because they're limited. Then those 60% of the snaps, that even gives you a better chance to dominate them in that period. So if you're the Texans fan right now, and you never like to wish bad on injuries, but if one of them doesn't play tomorrow, that is huge for you. Because you don't know how big of a game changer Swift can be. I mean, look, Swift was out last week. Well, look what happened. Swift was out last week. They didn't score a touchdown. They were awful. Their run game was awful. It just goes to show you how dominant at times Swift and Golladay can be. You take them out of the lineup, this is an offense that just looks completely demented. Stop. If you're the Texans, you have to stop either Golladay or Swift. Jones Jr., okay, if he has 60 yards, he's not going to destroy you. I don't think he will. Especially that Stafford's first thing in his head is, where's Golladay? That's any quarterback. They're always looking for their number one receiver. Because that's your best guy in the field. You're always going to look. If you're not looking for your number one receiver, then I don't know what's wrong with you. It's almost like Rodgers to Devontae Adams. I'm sure every play Rodgers gets the ball, he's always got Adams in his mind. Because he knows he's working with one of the best receivers in the league. Right? That's why you become a number one receiver, because you get the ball a ton and you gain trust from your quarterback. So, Galladay's gained trust from Stafford. So Stafford's first instinct's going to look to Golladay. If he's not open, then he'll look to Jones. If he's not open, that's the thing. Look, if you eliminate Golladay there in that situation, now really all it's down to is Jones and Hawkinson also. Really, you got to find a way to stop this passing game, I think. Because, outside of Swift, their running game struggles. So, you really got to find a way to either stop Golladay or, stop Golladay. Try to stop Golladay or Swift. One or the other. But you cannot, and that's what I'm saying, you cannot let Marvin Jones Jr., TJ Hawkinson, and Kenny Golladay all have big games because they can hurt you. So you got to find a way to stop at least one or two of those players. Whether that's stopping Hawkinson and Swift, whether that's stopping Golladay and Jones, whether that's stopping Jones and Hawkinson, you got to find a way. Because if you don't stop either of them, that's 4 weapons right there that's having big days. That's the key to the game for the Texans. Now I move to the Lions' keys to the game. We got offensive keys to the game here for the Lions. Like I said, if you notice, it's usually the opposite. For example, I said the Texans, you got to stop Golladay or Swift or someone like that. You're 2 really good guys on that team. Got to find a way to stop them. For the Lions now, it's going to find a way to give them the ball. I know, and this isn't trying to be just stupid. I'm telling you the truth. It's usually the opposite, because if they're trying to stop Golladay, then your game plan isn't going to come back at, we're going to completely do a different game plan. If they stop Golladay, it's okay. So now the Lions' keys to the game are going to have to be for offense is is try to get the ball to Kenny Golladay and DeAndre Swift. Give the ball to your 2 best offensive players. That's what you have to do. Try and give the ball to your 2 best offensive players. And I don't think this Texans team is amazing in the secondary. I don't think this Texans team, I think if anything, their strength is up front, and I think a lot of us can agree on that. I think if anything, their strength is up front, so you might have an easier time getting it to Golladay than you do Swift. Their defensive front, I don't like to say that their strength is their defensive front, because it's still not that good. I never really like to use that word. Because if you sit here and tell me, their strength is their defensive front, and it's still bottom of the league, it's just how bad their secondary can be at times. It makes it seem like their defensive front's so good. If you had to choose a strength from this team, it probably would be their defensive front, just because J.J. Watt and guys like that, just the veteran presence that they bring to that defense. I think that's what you could maybe call strength. But for the Lions here, you got to find a way to give the ball to Kenny Golladay or Swift. Give it in your playmaker's hands. Even if that means that Swift's having a bad day running, because he's had some of those days already, throw him the ball. That was one of his biggest things in college, was getting him the ball in the passing game. His yards after catch were unbelievable. I mean, in Georgia, it was literally like they had a receiver behind him. He's almost like a Cordell Patterson in a way. And I don't want to compare him to Cordell Patterson because he doesn't return punts and he doesn't receive that much. But he can run and he can catch. You can line up in the receiver position. He's became more of a runner with the Lions as he gone in the NFL, but he's still very capable of catching. So get the ball in your playmaker's hands. It's going to work. And that might sound obvious too, but the Texans are going to come back and try to eliminate one of them. And I don't want to say that Kenny Galladay's not that good, but I don't think it's the hardest thing ever to eliminate Kenny Galladay. I don't think that's the most difficult thing ever to do, eliminate Kenny Galladay. So you got to get the ball to your playmaker's hands. The keys for defense is simple. Not meaning that you're probably gonna see this coming. You gotta stop the deep ball. Okay, you're gonna have no problem stopping Duke Johnson. Once again, if Duke Johnson goes for 120 yards and 2 scores, I'll sit here on Friday and tell you how much I was wrong. But for the time being, sitting here on a Wednesday, the day before the game, I do not think Duke Johnson's gonna do that. You're gonna have no problem stopping the run game. You might have a problem, and you probably will have a problem stopping Deshaun Watson and his pretty good weapons around him. I don't want to call them weapons because I don't think Will Fuller and guys like that are really considered those high-end weapons. But he has guys around him that can make plays. So if you're the Detroit Lions, you've got to counter that and stop the deep ball. Jeff Okudah, Darius, guys like that have to step up tomorrow. They have to step up. You cannot go with this game, and you cannot expect to win this game with Watson throwing for, I don't know, let me just think of a number. You cannot expect to play this game with Watson throwing for 500 yards. I don't know. Let me just think of a number. You cannot. What's not crazy, but like you cannot expect to win this game if Watson tomorrow throws for 290 yards and 3 scores. That's gonna be tough to win. If you limit him to 200 yards, 2 scores, okay, you might be able to get a win because I think they're gonna generate most of their. I don't think they're gonna score a touchdown on the run game. If anything, it's gonna be Watson. You gotta stop this You gotta stop this pass game. That is what you have to do. You have to stop the pass game. You have to do that. Stop the deep ball. Specifically the deep ball. Stop it, and you'll be in a good position. That's your key to the game for the Detroit Lions on defense. So obviously, that is your key to the game for the Lions, like I just said. So these are the keys to the game for the Lions. You got for the offense, it's got to get the ball into your playmakers' hands because that's what the Texans are going to try to do. And then for the defense, you got to stop the deep ball. Watson's going to throw it deep. There's going to be guys downfield. Slay and Okudah have struggled. You have to stop the deep ball. That is what you got to do if you want to win the game for the Detroit Lions. So they really have to. And like we said, even last week, Jeff Okudah saw a season low last week in snap counts. And it just goes to show you how he really has struggled in this NFL. And I've talked to so many people about this, and I was telling someone yesterday about this. That's just going to show you how hard it is in the NFL to be a cornerback. It is crazy how hard it is to be a cornerback in the NFL. It has got to be one of the most difficult things to do on the football field. And everyone talks, quarterback's up there. Quarterback is. You people don't realize these guys about got 2 seconds in the pocket to read defenses and throw the ball in 2 seconds while being under pressure at times. It's also tough to be a quarterback. Literally, as a quarterback, once you're getting the ball, you're literally being rushed and you have about 2 seconds of time. Some guys who are really horrible have about a second and a half if you're the Jets quarterback usually. So just to run through the keys of the game, we got the Texans. We got the Texans keys of the game. Throw the ball deep. For offense, defense is you got to eliminate one of their, whether that's Galladay, Swift, eliminate one of them. Lions is to throw it, and also get in your playmakers' hands and stop the deep ball is your key on defense. So now let's look at some of the league rankings. Didn't I say I was not going to rattle on about, and we're already at 29 minutes. I'll try to go quick with the other one. So points per game for the Texans this season is 22nd in the league. Points per game is 22nd for the Lions, so about the same. They're tied right there for points per game, which just makes this game so close. Points per game allowed, 23rd is the Texans. 23rd is the Texans, and points per game allowed is the Lions are 28th. Total yards per game, the Texans are 17th, Lions are 25th. Pass yards per game, Texans are 8th, Lions are 15th. Rush yards per game, Texans are 31st, Lions are 29th. Rush yards per game allowed, Texans are 31st, and the Lions are 27th. So, obviously, those are the things. Tomorrow, the Lions are obviously home. 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. The first Thanksgiving Day football game of the season is tomorrow. And this is my game pick. First game pick for Thanksgiving. I got the Houston Texans winning. I got them winning 31-21. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I got them winning 31-21, which puts me at the over on the over-under of 51.5. So I have them covering the 3 points. I have them covering, winning 31-21. And I take the over on the over-under of 51.5. Texans win. That is my first game pick for the Thursday Thanksgiving games. Now we move on to probably what I think will be the best game tomorrow. And that is the Dallas Cowboys, who come in at 3-point favorites, and the Washington football team, who come in as the over-under is 46 for this game. So same thing, we already at 31 minutes, so I'm going to kind of keep this. I promise I'm going to keep this short and sweet. This might only take 5-6 minutes. I know I took a long time on that one. You know me, I just love to talk sports. I'll just blab on, and I swear, I do what an hour video is about. That's me just talking sports. So I'm going to try to keep this short. Sometimes I don't, just because I'm trying to get all the information out there. But I'm going to kind of just tell you what you got to do tomorrow if you're the Cowboys and the Washington. So let's get into it. We'll go with the Dallas game picks first, because we did the away team last time. Might as well do the home team first here. We did the Texans last time first. They're the away team. Might as well do the Dallas first. They're the home team, so let's switch it up. I usually just do it in random order, whatever. But we'll go with Dallas first here. So let's get into it here. So we got Dallas. Keys of the game on offense. I think like I said, I think this game's going to be amazing. If you're the Cowboys tomorrow, right, you've got weapons all around you. I know it's Andy Dalton and stuff, but you got weapons all around. And I want them personally to run it with Ezekiel Elliott, because I've got him in fantasy going. I want both teams to do it. I want the football. I want Washington to do it. I want them to run it with Antonio Gibson all day long, because I've got him in fantasy. And I also want the Dallas to do it, because I want them to run all day long, because I've got Zeke in fantasy. So that's kind of funny, because tomorrow obviously I'm rooting for the Texans and rooting for Watson, because I've got him in one of my fantasy leagues. And also tomorrow I'm rooting for Gibson on the Redskins, and I'm rooting for Zeke on the Cowboys. So tomorrow I think the key to the game is here, and I think it's kind of more play a balanced offense, because if you had to do something, you got to throw the ball, I think. And the reason I think this is, and I think you can obviously say, sit here and say that with Dalton and this passing game that hasn't been the same since Dak got injured, you could say don't throw the ball. But this weakness of this secondary, of this Washington team, is their secondary. That is their weakness. It is their secondary. Their secondary is their weakness. Their defensive front's pretty good. They got the new draft pick. They got Kerrigan. They got some good guys up in the defensive front. Some young and veteran presence. They've been really meshing well. This defense has got a bright future, by the way. For all those suffering Washington fans out there is hope on the defensive side of the ball. And I'll get to them in a little bit. But Dallas, they've got to throw the ball tomorrow. And I also want them to run. It's kind of run a balanced offense, but also throw a lot. Because you got Amari Cooper. You got Michael Gallup. You got Dalton Schultz, who called a touchdown last week, who caught the game winner. And you got CeeDee Lamb. You've got arguably one of the best receiving cores in all the NFL around you and Andy Dalton. I'm not specifically saying throw the ball deep. I'm not specifically saying throw the ball 50 yards downfield every play. Unlike I am with the Texans, I do think the Texans should take deep shots. But you have to, tomorrow, utilize those receivers. You're going up against a secondary that is the weakness, and I mean this by true now. Their defense line is actually pretty good. Their real weakness is their secondary. It's not like one of those things where if you had to choose a weakness, it would be their secondary because they are, they're still good. This truly is a weakness for this Washington team. So you gotta stop. I think if you gotta make fun of this secondary. You gotta really expose it. Expose it. Have two slant routes. Have a comebacker. Have maybe a fake comeback and a play deep across the middle. Something like that. A hook route. Whatever the case may be. You got to make some plays happen here on this Washington secondary. That's what you got to do. You also got to run the ball with Elliott, right? You also got to do that. More of a balance, but also really throw the ball and really, really make sure you're throwing the ball and take some shots deep. That's the key to the game for the Cowboys on offense. For defense, the key to the game is stopping the run game, I think. This is a Dallas defense that is horrendous. This is a Dallas defense that just can't do anything. And all in all, this is just a straight up a Dallas team on the defense side of the ball that just can't do anything at all. They just can't do anything. Can't do anything at all. But what I'm going to sit here and say is, if you're going to have to stop something, it's going to have to be this run game. You're going to have to eliminate one or the other. You're going to have to either try to eliminate Terry McLaurin, or you're going to have to eliminate Antonio Gibson. You're going to have to eliminate one or the other. It's almost the same thing with the Lions. You eliminate one of them, you're in a good situation. This is the Cowboys defense who's awful. I like Alex Smith a lot, and I'm actually kind of rooting for Washington in this game. But I like Alex Smith a lot with everything he's been through to see. With everything he's been through to be back on the football field, I'm rooting for him. But the passing game is not going to hurt. The passing game is not the dominance of this team. It's this run game. And I understand they still have Terry McLaurin and stuff. But if you're the Cowboys, you're going to have to figure out a way to stop this run game and also try and stop Terry McLaurin. That's what you're going to have to do if you want to win this game. So that's the key for the defense. Like I said, trying to go quick here. For Washington now, the key on offense is the opposite. Get it to your playmakers as well. Really try to run the ball with Gibson. And I'm not just saying this just because, and also you got to throw the ball too. You kind of got to, I should say balanced here. Be balanced. Throw the ball, run the ball. Throw it, run it. Throw, run. Throw, run. Right? Balanced. Because you've got a playmaker in the passing game and you got a playmaker in the run game. You got to try to figure out a way to balance both of those. So if you're the Cowboys defense, you got to eliminate one of them. If you're the Washington, you gotta just give the ball until they catch you. Until they catch you and stop you, just keep pounding the ball. Keep doing what you're doing. That's what you got to do if you're Washington on defense or on offense. And in Washington on defense, stop this passing game. Stop this receiving corps. Stop CeeDee Lamb. Stop Amari Cooper. If you want to win this game, you're going to have to stop them. So, Cowboys offensive keys is get the ball in your receiver's hands, get the ball in your playmaker's hands. Cowboys defensive keys is you got to eliminate either Gibson or McLaurin. Washington is pick fun of this defense and also kind of, balanced. Balance. You got a good running back, you got a good receiver. Balance it out. And the defense is stop that receiving core for Washington. Let's look at some of the league rankings here. Washington comes in points per game, 29th in the league. Dallas is 20th. Points per game allowed, Washington is 9th. Dallas is 32nd. Total yards per game, Washington is 28th. Dallas is 6th. Passing yards per game, Washington is 24th. Dallas is 7th. Rush yards per game, Washington is 24th. Cowboys are 13th. Yards per game allowed, Washington is 6th. And the Cowboys are 24th. Said, this Washington defense could definitely play. So, I'm making this pick off of what I do personally really do think will happen. I think the Cowboys will win tomorrow. I think they are, honestly, I think they might just be the better team. Tomorrow, I just think they have the better assets. They have the better guys around them. Now, with this being said, this is one of the Jets situations. By the way, my game pick for tomorrow, I have them barely winning 28-24. I have them covering, but it's going to be a close game. And let me get this up here. 28 plus 24. That's 52. I take the over on the over-under of 46. And I think the Dallas covers. And I think they win 28-24. I think it's a very close game as well. Here's the reasoning I'm taking the Cowboys. I just think they might be the better team. This is one of the Jets situations. And I'm rooting for the Cowboys on offense. And I'm also rooting for the Redskins on offense. So this is one of those things where tomorrow, and I've said this so many times. I've said this a couple times on the podcast. Everything that Alex Smith has been through, to see him back on the football field is just amazing. And I want this Washington football team to actually make the playoffs. I think it would be a remarkable story and stuff. So tomorrow, I probably would consider myself rooting for the Washington, although I'm rooting for Zeke and Gibson to have good games. But I think the Cowboys will personally win. But just know that I am pulling for Washington to probably win that game. That is probably what I'm doing. Now, if Washington loses, this is going to make me so sad. Not really, because they're not my favorite team. But if I had to choose one team, and I always do this. You know, when the Jets are eliminated, I always choose the team to root for in the playoffs. Not that I'm going to go out, buy a jersey, buy everything, be all of a sudden its ultimate fan. I don't do that. But I always root for a team in the playoffs. Last year, the team I rooted for the playoffs was actually the Chiefs, because I like Mahomes. I like that team. I like Mahomes. I wanted to see Andy Reid win one. Since the Jets were out of the playoffs, you always got to root for someone. You're rooting for someone in the Super Bowl. So last year I was rooting for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Same thing. This, now the Jets are eliminated. You always got to find a team. Not that the Redskins are make the playoffs, but in the playoffs, I always find a team to root for. Last year it was the Chiefs that I was rooting for in the playoffs. This year I don't know who's going to be in. If the Washington makes it, they might be one of the teams, because I think it would be so cool to see Alex Smith maybe win a playoff game with everything he's been through, to go out there and maybe win a playoff game. And the remarkable story, just all in all, with this Washington team, everything they went through in the offseason, between all the name changing and stuff, to see them possibly make the playoffs, I think would be pretty cool. It's going to be tough for them. But I do give Dallas the win here. But just know that if I get this pick wrong, I'm going to be angry. But I just know that I am, I think it would be pretty cool to see Washington possibly, obviously win. But like I said, I'm also rooting for just a good game. That's kind of the deal there. I'm rooting for a good game as well. So yeah. So that's what I got there for those games. So like I said, I have the Texans winning and the Cowboys winning. Those are your two games on tomorrow. So a great lineup for Thanksgiving Day football. Going to be a lot of fun to watch. I'm excited. Hopefully you are as well. Now we move on to fantasy football, because tomorrow we got some fantasy football action we're rolling with here. We got some good games on tomorrow. Hold on a second. Did that Steelers-Ravens game get moved to 12? Interesting. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. But yeah, so let's get into this. So fantasy football, this is my lineup for this week in my one league. I got Aaron Rodgers, Ezekiel Elliott, Chris Carson, Devontae Adams, Robert Woods, Hunter Henry, Todd Gurley, Browns defense, Daniel Carlson. And my bench is Juju Smith-Schuster, DJ Moore, Allen Robinson, Matt Ryan, Robert Gronkowski, Ronald Jones, Austin Eckler, and my IR is David Johnson. Austin Eckler is still on IR, but they said they were going to activate him. Eckler hamstring will practice Wednesday. Jeff Miller of the Los Angeles Times reports. And now I move on to Chris Carson as well. I picked him up, dropped Duke Johnson. Like I said, I've not liked what I've saw out of Duke Johnson. And Eckler's had a pretty solid year when he's been in, so I'm going to put him in. For Chris Carson, we got Carson Foot looked to be a full participant in the open portion Tuesday's practice. Greg Bell of the Tacoma News Tribune reports. So right now I'm projected 107 to 104. I'm projected to win, so hopefully I do win. By the way, I did move Robert Woods, a receiver. He's playing against a banged-up San Francisco defense. He's just been playing so well this season. I mean, he really has. Interesting. It really has just been so, good. for him. So, look at some of the matchups: 11, 9, 16, 3, 13, 10, 2, 21, 3, 18. It really is crazy. So hopefully he can have another good week this week as well. That would be very, very, very good. Hunter Henry playing him again. He's playing against Buffalo. Pretty good team, but I think he should maybe have a pretty good game there. And for my other league, I've got Deshaun Watson, James Robinson, Antonio Gibson, Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry, A.J. Brown, Giants defense, Daniel Carlson. My bench is Kenyon Drake, Rams defense. I got Kenyon Drake, Rams defense, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Chris Godwin, Raheem Mostert, and Gus Edwards. I picked up Gus Edwards. They said he was going to be a solid pickup this week. I might just pick him up for this week. And in Raheem Mostert, I also picked him up. The 49ers designated Mostert ankle to return from injury reserve Tuesday. Cam Iman of the San Jose Mercury news reports. So he's in as well. And Antonio Gibson, report came on him yesterday. Gibson ankle was a full participant in Tuesday's practice. Kyle Stackpole of Washington's official site report. So I'm playing him. I'm still deciding on what defense to play. Do I play the Giants up against Brandon Allen and that Bengals, their third string? Or do I play Rams defense against that banged-up San Francisco team? I'm not 100% sure yet. Still kind of deciding. But it's going to be an interesting decision when it comes around. So that's kind of what we got there. It's kind of the deal for both leagues there. It's going to be hopefully exciting to see how it all pans out. Tomorrow I got Watson, Gibson, and... Wait, hold on. Let me just go back and make this... Just to make sure that I'm correct here. Tomorrow I got Elliott in my one league. That's it. And I got Watson and Gibson in my other league. So, hoping Elliott could have another good game. All right, move on to some of the college basketball stuff. Tonight, Kentucky plays for the first time all season. There's going to be a lot of... I'm really excited to see what happens there. These are the games today. We got Kentucky Morehead State. We'll preview that one in just a second here. We got Virginia Townsend. I give Virginia the win. Ohio State, Illinois State. I give Ohio State the win. Illinois, North Carolina A&T. I give Illinois the win. Houston and Lamar. I give Lamar the win. And then and I got Michigan, Bowling Green, give Michigan the win. Iowa, North Carolina Central University. This was funny because I said yesterday that I did not know that this was going to be one of the games. I never even heard of North Carolina Central University, so it was pretty cool to see. It's pretty interesting to see that they're playing against Iowa. I give Iowa the win. North Carolina Charleston, give North Carolina the win. Michigan State Eastern Michigan, give Michigan State the win. Texas Tech Northwestern State, give Texas Tech the win. Arizona State, Rhode Island. I give Arizona State the win. Rutgers, Sacred Heart, give Rutgers the win. West Virginia, South Dakota State, give West Virginia the win. Texas, Rio Grande Valley, give Texas the win. And Villanova, Boston College, I give Villanova the win. Wisconsin, Eastern Illinois, give Wisconsin the win. UCLA, South Dakota, San Diego State, give UCLA the win. And now for Kentucky. First time all season long, Kentucky's taking the court. Kentucky comes into this game 25-point favorites. The over/under is 139 right now. Kentucky, a lot of young guys. We have two remaining players. Keon Brooks, who isn't playing today. Riley Welsh, who doesn't usually play at all. And other than that, we've got a bunch of new players. Deontay Allen, Devin Askew, B.J. Boston. Guys like that are going to be the difference. And they've said so many times, Calipari, the Kentucky head coach, has said so many times. He has said this multiple times. He has said this, that these players have a lot of differences. They're young. They need to mesh well in order to be good. This is a 10th ranked team in the nation. It's a very good coach in Calipari. I'm confident because of what I've seen out of his team in the past couple of years. But we need to win a couple of these big games. Tonight, I think tonight we'll win. I think we will. I'm going to give you my prediction in a second, but I'm feeling confident about tonight's game. Here's my deal, though. And the only way we win this is, and Calipari said it, this team is very different. There's a lot of different guys with different play styles. You have to figure out to work together in order to win. In the past years, we've had a couple players here and there just take it by storm and be insane. This year, it's going to be a true team effort. So what we have to do is we have to play well. We can't have any of these moments where we struggle because those could lead into really bad games. So Devin Askew, Deontay Allen, Brandon Boston, leaders of the team like Keon Brooks and guys like that, they have to step up and make plays. Now, I'm really excited to see what B.J. Boston does, the youngster, the top recruit in the nation to come to Kentucky. It was just amazing. I'm excited to see what he does tonight. I give Kentucky the win, and I do think they cover in tonight's game. And I'll take the over-under 139. I'm not going to give a complete score because it's tough to give a score, but I do think that Kentucky does win this game. I think they win big. I think they start off the season on a high note, and they win this game. Going to be exciting, I'll tell you that for sure. Going to be very exciting. I'm excited to watch this game. I am so excited. I've been waiting for a very long time now to see Kentucky play back on the court again, and it's really, really is amazing to see them. And obviously really is exciting to see them back on the court again. It's really, 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 really exciting. So, yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are as well. A lot of good sports on within the next day or so. Got all the basketball on today. Got all the football on tomorrow. So go Kentucky and all that. And I just want to say I wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully everybody has a happy and safe Thanksgiving. Whatever you're doing, whether you're hanging out with friends and family or you're just, whatever the case may be. I know I'm having all the food and stuff, which is good. Enjoy all the food. Yeah, wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and I will see you all. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. I will see you all here on Friday. And I will, obviously tomorrow is going to be an off day, going to enjoy the Thanksgiving, watch the games, hang out with family and stuff, eat some good food, like always, because you got to do that on Thanksgiving. And also, Friday, I'll be doing my Football Friday, talking about the Thursday games, and then, all that good stuff. So enjoy your Thanksgiving. Enjoy the games on tonight. And like I said, everyone, enjoy it, whatever you're doing, family, friends, whatever you're doing. Enjoy it, enjoy the good food, and enjoy your time with your family. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I will see you all on Friday with another packed football podcast. See you all back here on Friday. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a very good Thanksgiving, a very happy Thanksgiving, and hope you enjoyed it. And thanks for watching. I'll see you all back here on Friday. Like I said, tomorrow, day off. So that's what I'm going to do. If you obviously have heard me say that many times. So anyway, have a very happy Thanksgiving. I will see you all back here on Friday. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.